As you can see from what I have pulled up, time is definitely a ticking. Let's pull up chat. Gotta pull up chat. I think I have chat overlay on here. I do. Hopefully I do. Oh, there it is. Nice. All right, the cogs are turning and stuff's happening. What's good? Missed Cyber with Raul. Your name sounds familiar. I feel like you were here yesterday. Sup, Darius? How goes things? There's the chat flowing. Nice. Very nice. Sup, y'all? It's your boy. I'm too young to talk like that. Or too young. Wow. I need more coffee. I'm too old to talk like that. Where the baddies at? Sweezy. What are you talking about? All right. So this is a follow-up stream. Back to back? This hasn't happened since the beginning of last year. A year and a half in the making. Which cloud cert path is the best? Man, starting off already, Patrick McCoy Jr. Which cloud cert path is the best in terms of importance? That's a odd way of phrasing that question. In terms of importance to whom? Important to make the big money? Important to keep up with these trying times we have with AI? What exactly are you referring to in importance? Just pick one, bro. Pick AWS. Most likely, if you're trying to go towards SIM EDR support, then go Azure. Anything beyond that is super specific to a client a company that you want to work for. So GCP or any other cloud infrastructure, go that route. Can we talk? That's a sus way of phrasing that over on Twitch. Talk about what? Or you mentioned before that WGU, is it worth it? Yes. I'd say it's worth it. If you want to blast through your college, your time in college, WGU gives you a bunch of the certificates that you would otherwise get on your own, like Security Plus, I think CISA Plus, Pentest Plus probably sprinkled in there, even though it's not worth anything, really. But you could knock out both. Get a bunch of certs, get a degree. It's online. You can blast through it quicker than you would a typical 4-year degree. Certainly a lot quicker than I did mine. I don't know if you've seen my video on it, but importance to the markets. You can't go wrong with either, Patrick. AWS, Azure, or GCP. Those are the big ones. So grab some certs in there. What was how did you phrase it? Cloud cert path. You need there's engineering path and there's security path. If you're starting from ground zero, you probably should start with engineering, so you know how to secure the things and then do the security side of things. If you already know the infrastructure, then you could probably get away with doing the security ones. They have paths online. Thanks for letting us know, user McGnome. We'll see you in a little bit. I hope it goes well. Can AI sending millions phishing at once? What? Can AI sending millions phishing at once? Yeah. It probably can. If you have your own AI that's self-hosted and doesn't have any guardrails on it, I don't see why it couldn't send out millions of phishing emails at once. Whether or not I want to be answering that question for somebody I have no idea whose motives are, it's probably something I shouldn't go deeper into. But as you can see, folks, we're not going to Disneyland. No, I'm just kidding. We still have time. My goal at the end of the year is to get to 10,000 accounts. That's not subscriptions, by the way, on the site. In that teeny tiny text, you can see we're at 4,000. Only a couple hundred after announcing some of the new releases. Job market's so bad, I started manifesting help desk job. If you believe in manifestation, as I like to put it, my wife's really into manifestation. If you could believe it, it'll come true. I actually have some videos lined up. So this isn't just going to be me answering questions mindlessly. Although it could start out that way. Do you think AI will replace... Okay. Well, we're not going to be answering silly questions, Sweezy. But if I have to think about it, robots plus AI, yes. I think we could get there. I think we can make that happen. We all have to improve the technology, and in due time, we can accomplish just that, Sweezy. Your hopes and dreams can come true. The UK job market, like at the minute, I don't know nothing about the UK job market. Apologies. I live in the US. Do you still play WoW at all, or have you fully given it up? Hard to say whether I've fully given it up. Man, I watch videos that just complain about what it used to be like and how it's like no longer about war and fighting and factions. It's all about love and peace. And I don't know, there's all these different angles that you could crap on it. I'll probably play it once I have more time. Why do I wear a hat? It's not a hat. I've been asked this before. Because I want to be able to rant on this channel about anything at work if I feel like it and not get in trouble for it. That is kind of the main reason, actually. At first, it was making any videos. But then after some time, I realized, oh, if I just make like educational videos that are somewhat entertaining and they're not too questionable in the type of humor that I use, then I won't get fired. They'll probably be like, oh, that's neat. But a lot of times I rant. And I don't look like a very necessarily quality employee to be having in some of the videos and some of the things I've said, which could risk my 9 to 5. How often do you have to explain that cyber is various fields disciplines? Like if I went live every single day, I would be answering that question multiple times a day or multiple times within the stream, because it's fine, because people starting out don't get that. And even me going through the bachelor's program way back when in the day, I graduated 2020, so 6 years ago. I was in and out, but even when I was going through that, I didn't even realize how deep it went. So I got to give them some credit. Everyone starts out somewhere. So I'm here to help out, direct, guide them where they're supposed to be considering things. Why skip my question 3 times? Oh man, I don't even want to answer your question if you're gonna get so upset about it. I skipped a question 3 times. I don't even see your question. What are you talking about? Oh, there it is. Is it possible to get a job with only Azure certifications? Yes. Hell yes. Are you kidding? I'm sure some of you have heard this story before, but I'll say it again. Back at my MSP job, where we were doing stupid help desk stuff, I was a tier 1 tech, and I worked with this one dude who was also crazy smart. And we were kind of on the same playing field. We had to deal with the idiots who would not work and took forever to do the most basic shit. But he went after a couple Azure certifications, and he landed a junior Azure engineer role. And he progressed really quick because he's freakishly smart. He's some dude from Israel. I'm pretty sure he's from Israel. But yeah, wicked smart. And all he needed was those couple of certs. He really embellished on his resume his abilities, but he could back them up. As far as the work that he was doing at our MSP job, we didn't get a ton of hands-on like infrastructure work in Azure in that position, but he made it seem like he did, and he was able to land that job. And then he became an architect, and he's been bouncing around making pretty good money. So yeah, there you go. What we doing? Well, at the start, I like to answer some questions, but as soon as we suss those out, I got some videos that I want to take a look at. And an article, I think it's called an article, a questionnaire. CrowdStrike published a, well, I might as well just go over to it. All right, let's see. Oh, that's cool. Did it blur it on this side, or is it blurred because I don't have the tab open? Interesting. I got this dude up. He's made some questionably angry videos on the state of the job market. I don't think he can get a job, so he's just crashing out. But we'll see. I watched a little bit of his previous video, not this one. This one's not very old. Yeah, 4 days old. But I got this. Published States of Cloud Detection and Response Survey, and it kind of goes over. I wanted to read it, but there's kind of a lot. Let's see what we can suss out of here. Some key findings, some gaps in cloud visibility. Maybe there's something in here that I haven't considered. AI adoption, that's the big one. Expands the cloud attack surface. Yes, it has. Indeedy. Yes, indeed. So we could get into that, but if there's still questions, let's see. What do you think big companies push so much AI while people don't like, but still use? They don't care about emotions, just money, right? I think it's really easy for people to complain. I complain all the time to my wife and in Discord about AI being used by absolute idiots who should not be using the coding side of AI. Oh, nice. Thanks for the sub. PBI sandwich. I forgot I had those in. That kind of scared me. I fully can get behind AI usage. I was actually talking about it last night. As far as like writing, that just reminded me LinkedIn is such an AI slot field. When you're doing writing sucks. I have hated writing. English was my least favorite subject. Writing essays and the technical writing class was the last class I had to take in college, was such ass. It felt like such a waste of time. But I get I get how you need to train that part and to be able to write like coherently and write technically and write in such a way that you don't sound like an idiot at work, especially. But you can use AI to create bullet points a lot quicker. You can use AI to proofread your shit. There's so much streamlining of work that can be done with AI, and that's just English. But they're building apps at work, which is, but it is making things more productive. The apps that they're doing at work involve customer information because they want to be able to analyze it quicker. They're hooking it up to their database. I'm not going to get into that can of worms, but I fully understand why we need to be using AI, especially when we want to combat AI usage in attacks. So it's we kind of have to. I wouldn't say it's just money, but if it helps you make more money, that is the bottom line of a business. People fail to realize that. They complain about big business all the time, but if the business isn't making money and growing, they can't hire more people. And you could make an argument about upper management making too much money, CEOs, whatever, separate issue. But it's not, I'm not quite sure. You might need to explain a little bit more about what you mean by emotions. It's not just money. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. If someone scammed me, can you get me his location? Bruh, are you serious? Oh, I wanted to see if I can I pin something from here? I can't. Wait, can I? Timeout, block, add. No, I can't. Let me see if I could do it on, how do I do this? Your no, definitely not there. Okay, I have an idea. Might be some reverb here. There we go. Okay. Can I pin from here? No? You're kidding me. Really? Oh, there we go. It just took a while to load. All right. Probably do a poll from here too. There we go. And then I'll pin that maybe? Can I pin that? No, it doesn't. Oh, no, that didn't work. Great website, getting a lot of insight in Azure. Nice. SDET by one transition section to different setups. That's a good career path to have. PBGA sandwich. Let's see. Yeah, that worked. Okay, sweet. Sorry, I had to figure that out. I haven't had to do that before. Adam. Hey man, I'm Adam. I got that from your name. I really don't understand WSP with me for real. I just felt like I fell behind in cybersec so much, and it made me feel discouraged. I was trying to study. Okay, that's not really a question, but don't feel discouraged. There's a lot to learn. All stuff pulled me out and I deal with it. Oh man, there's so many more here. You have a junior incident response interview tomorrow. Any advice? Oh, I hope you prepped. I can bet dollars to Betsy that the incident response interview is going to have some scenario-based questions, and you better understand how to triage some shit. So think about the main scenarios. Funny enough, I actually had to come up with some of these for a lead incident response. So you're in the right place, Drake Dope Pope. I think some of the big ones they'll probably ask you is how you would approach if you had to be the first person seeing the alert for certain types of incidents. So ransomware, email compromise, web application compromise. Those are the three big ones that come to mind. I would use an LLM to bounce back and forth your answers if you don't have a person who could who's knowledgeable enough to vouch your answers are correct. But other than that, just watching videos to prep yo questions responses. Shout out from Angola, brother. It's been some time. Shout out back at you. It has been some time. I've been wanting to get back into to live streams because I think people like them enough, but there's just a lot of work. Like mentally preparing yourself to go live over and over and over for my personality is tough. You need a serious answer. Is it worth it now at this moment to start learning cybersecurity or not? Please answer and tell me why. Well, I'll answer your question with a question. Why do you think it's not worth learning cybersecurity right now? Because I would bet that you think it's not worth it because it's going to get replaced by AI. And there's a lot of doom and gloom backed behind that with no tangible evidence that it's going to be impacted, outright replacing jobs. It is just going to make the bar higher in the knowledge of tools that you need to use. You need to leverage AI. But beyond that, you still need to know all the fundamentals. It's going to be a long ass time before we can fully implement any AI tool to do what even junior analysts do, because there's business critical systems that cannot go down because AI decided it met all these check boxes and it's going to shut down this production server. Like, we're talking like millions of dollars in some cases. If something goes down, you're losing millions of dollars for the business. That's like next level risk. Like maybe small businesses, they can take that kind of outage because they're not losing that much. People can't go to your site. But you should go down some rabbit hole videos because I'm not going to be able to answer that question fully right now. There's a lot that goes into it, but no, it's not getting phased out. It is worth learning if you're interested enough. If you're scared, blue collar is always available. That's not going to get replaced by AI. There are many openings for malware analyst roles in a current job market. I couldn't answer that question without doing some research. You should do some research. Nice. I hope you like the Azure fun, Graham. Urgent advice. Everybody needs urgent advice. I'm sure there's something going on in your life that you would warrant as urgent. New CSS attacks can break webmail defenses, steal passwords and tokens. That seems like a title to some article. I feel maybe I am wrong that security aspect is safer from AI than developers. Yeah, to some degree. I think with developers, they need to be using AI to develop quicker, but the quicker you develop things, the more likely they are to be insecure because you're meeting. If upper management's like, all right, everybody else, all of our competitors are deploying shit like crazy and we can't because we're worried about not being fully secure, I would bet that they're just going to force you to try to increase your productivity. And if you don't, you're going to get laid off. So that introduces a lot of bugs a lot quicker. So I'm not I haven't been in a developer position, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, I think it affects devs a little bit more, but it also is a bit of job security. I have never felt more secure in my job in cybersecurity as I do right now. It's actually crazy the type of shit that I'm seeing at work. AI botnets, AI usage. There's some prompt injections. Yeah. It's actually interesting to see what our pen testing firm that we partner with is able to dig up from all the AI usage. What's the most important part of a resume for getting a job in cyber? Well, I would say, Gruzzler, that the entire resume is the most important part. So if it doesn't start off strong at the top, then it's going to get tossed. If it's not getting scanned properly by ATS or whatever other automated scanners they're having, it's not going to get passed to somebody with eyeballs. If you're having a hard time landing interviews, you're probably not tailoring your resume properly enough. That's it. Your resume is either you're not matching the criteria they're looking for, which you can embellish, provided you can back it up, which will then match on more of their scanning to then put it in front of eyeballs. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, let's interview this guy or gal. I want to know what part of my resume is the part that will help the most. Yeah. The whole resume. It's I think you're overthinking the issue here. What do you think about DevSecOps? Currently, I'm a DevOps engineer and looking forward to do CKS cert by Linux Foundation. DevSecOps is a natural transition if you're already in DevOps. You just you already know what's getting built. Now you just gotta help secure it. So you get to beat the person. You get to be the person that presumably you didn't like being a DevOps engineer because they're telling you, oh, this stuff needs fixing, when before it worked, it just didn't work in a secure way. If I click on an unlink, how would I know if it's hacked or it affect my info? You have to break it down in a analyze exactly where it goes. There's a lot that would go into that. If you click a link, you got to see what's loading when you click the link. You got to see what it's trying to load it in your browser, which could involve a lot of process analysis, redirects, all that. My go-to there would be a sandbox. If you don't have something that would log all that, which Windows logs should show you a lot of that. Because you are at a supreme lord, not comparable to lower presence like us. I don't remember what I said for you to respond like that. If you just peanut butter sandwich, what should be on the top then? So, man, I hate the delay on this. The top of your resume is the most important real estate. So if you're putting something that isn't as impressive, and then towards the bottom is your most impressive thing, you're setting yourself up for failure. So as a quick example, if your job experience is the most impressive thing, that needs to be higher up towards the top, versus like an associate's degree that is just kind of like a checkbox. If you put your associate's degree up at the top, they're going to read that and it's going to waste time for them to skim down. And they're already going to have a misconception or preliminary assessment as to what you have to offer. If the first thing they read is, oh, he's got an associate's degree, he doesn't have a bachelor's, why doesn't he have a bachelor's? And then they move on to the job experience, and then they kind of already are reading from that mindset, if that helps. Learning cybersecurity, Ryzen laptop is hanging on this. Dang, I don't have money for a laptop or a better one than this. Any things you... Sounds like you just need more, a beefier laptop. Either that or your laptop is fried. Do you have a lot of shit running on it? Clipper? You got to de-bloat your laptop. Have you done that? Sandboxing solutions, URLs, filters to detonate. I mean, the big ones that everybody uses when they first start out as a analyst, URL scan. Joe's Sandbox is pretty popular. I don't know if they have a free tier. AnyRun, I've used that quite a bit. If you can create an account using a non-obvious personal email, which you can create a business email very easily. Just create a new email somewhere that it accepts, and then you can do free public submissions. Just don't put anything in there that you don't want somebody else to see if they search you in their tool. Do I think AI will take most of cybersecurity jobs? No. AI is not going to take most of cybersecurity jobs. AI is just going to change how these positions function. Currently, security analysts, do you think the CCNA holds good value? Yes, CCNA holds lots of good value, way more than the Network Plus. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over when it comes to CCNA. I've heard people complain that it's too Cisco, but it holds up that if you know how to configure a Cisco router, that is still teaching you the fundamentals of all these routing protocols, how to set up VLANs, how to secure everything. There's all these different things that Cisco proprietary CLI can do that then translates to any other networking equipment. So I would rather learn that than do big picture shit with Network Plus, where it's like going to be forgotten. Because when you're actually messing around with a Cisco packet tracer, you're going to remember all that a lot more than just buzzwords in something like the Network Plus. As a cybersecurity expert, you're a cybersecurity expert? Dang. I'm just a novice. Do you think that using social media affects your security in any way? Yeah. I mean, it's increasing what data is available for you out there. So if you're using all the big ones, you're creating a digital fingerprint of you, but is it actually a security risk? I mean, unless you're doing something illegal, not really. When is the timeline on implementing AWS side of the course? I hope it's going to be the same month that I have it posted for release, which is going to be the end of September. It's tentatively right now, end of September. And I don't think people realize how much work that involves. And it's not me complaining. It's just more like, man, I did not realize how much time I would have to put in to make sure that these stupid flags are set up in places. I say stupid flags, but like I want to make it fun. But it was really, I had to like sit and think, and I'm like, no, that's a stupid place to put a flag. You're not going to learn anything by having to check there. All right, what's a better place? And then you have to build. It's not a ton of back end infrastructure, honestly, but it's just time consuming. So to answer your question, I'm hoping by the end of September. It'll probably be like mid-October, late October, if I'm being real. Because Canada, US deems us security risk because of our shitty government. Yeah, Canada can think all at once. All the other countries can think all they want, but I think it's a shit show everywhere you go. I'll just put it that way. Oh, actually, before I think I've fleshed out those questions. I want to watch this video. But before I do that, let's have a little game, shall we? I have a free voucher code, whatever you want to call it, a coupon code, 100% off the Azure Fundamentals, which is $49 right now. It's going to be $79 in a few days. But this is free. So all you got to do is create an account on the site, add the Azure Fundamentals to your cart, or not the cart, but to checkout. And then in the checkout, there's a little, there's a field for a discount code. I'm going to put it on the screen, and the first person to enter it gets to use it. You guys ready? Y'all ready for this? All right, let me add a text box. Okay. John. Okay. Let me just make sure that this is the right code. And discounts. Okay. Yeah, that's the right code. Okay. There's your code. First person to enter that, and I'm pretty sure it's case sensitive. So you're gonna have to let's see how quick someone can put that in. No credit card needed. It should just be like, oh, this is free, and then it'll accept it, and you get access to that, which is lifetime access, by the way. I don't plan on removing access to that. I'm gonna have to upkeep that too, because a lot of the logs were custom ingested, and I have to do reoccurring automation to make sure that those are consistently flowing, so people don't get confused AF. You have a roadmap on how to specialize in cybersecurity. What are some of the fundamentals we need to learn from IT fundamentals and networking in depth? Honestly, A+ is too much, I would say. It gets into a lot of the hardware that you don't need to know all that much about, honestly. Networking side, I would say learn all of it. But it's a loaded question. Like, you need to learn how operating systems work. fundamentally, how the software runs on them, how to troubleshoot that software to understand how it breaks, which then you build off of to really know how it breaks. And then you know how it communicates communicates across the network, which is the networking side of it. And it's all this one massive ecosystem. Dang, somebody already used it? For real? That was like 2-3 minutes. Yeah. Hot damn. Got fast fingers. Well, hope you enjoy it. Yeah. I also have marble set up, but that's only I'll see if I can do that at the end. But that's going to be via Twitch only because I don't want to set it up via YouTube live stream. But more on that later. I might be able to do another one. Let's just close that out so it's not glaring in our face. All right. So I don't know, it was already used before 30 seconds hit. Well, if you're calling me a liar, let me just take a look at who created it. Yeah, I think that was wait a minute. When was that created? I think it counts as a... Yeah, right there. I'm not losing my mind. Used minus 49. Okay, I was clicking to the wrong customer account. Yeah. Kudos. Anyways, yeah, man, you gotta be quick on the draw, apparently. Holy smokes. Y'all are quick. Security Plus guarantees you 0 jobs. If anybody told you Security Plus guarantees you a job, they're lying to your face. All right. Oh, thank you for the bits. I forgot I had that set up. Yeah, if y'all join via Twitch later on, that's when I'm going to do some more giveaways on the fundamentals training. So. "38 minutes in. It's a good time to start this video. Are there any secrets to getting hired in cybersecurity? Man, that's a tough question. It's hard. The secret is it's harder to get into than you think from the very beginning. You can watch potential videos saying, "Oh, I got a job with XYZ. It wasn't that hard." I think people underestimate how many applications you're going to need to send out, how much networking you might need to do. And it really comes down to, I think, your personality in these interviews. If you're not getting interviews, separate problem. You got to apply to more jobs. But if you're not getting the actual job offers, then I think it's a personality thing. If I had to be frank. Thanks for joining. Peanut butter. What security guys focus on? All right, I think we're gonna start this video. Let's see what he has to say. We got a Slav in the chat. If I could read Russian, my dad tried to make me learn it. I said, "Niet." And I gave up on that shit. In hindsight, I probably should have learned it. What are you trying to say to me? Oh, I think that's Skakdila. No. Yak spravi. Slang. No, ya хорошо. Так делаю хорошо. If you're still here. Anyways, let's start this video. I'm probably going to forget all of my Russian in the coming decade by not having used it at all. But once again, can you send the code? I'll do another code after this video. How about that? When you had AI-based labs in your training, will it go how and why it's vulnerable, how to harden it? Yes. Peter. I think that's how you say it. I want to lean the F out of AI and how to harden it, because a lot of these platforms, I'll just say them, Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, all these platforms are teaching you how AI can be used to break in. But from a defender's standpoint, how do we stop this shit? I think is the most valuable thing to be teaching, because not only do you need to know it from the attacker's perspective, because then you're like, oh, they should have all these in place, because then you can tell them that, but also purple teaming. You need to know both sides of the coin. So that's kind of what I'm aiming to do. Teach you how it gets abused, how to harden it, whole package. So yeah, let's go into this video now. Let's see what they have to say. Blink. All right. Is that full volume? Full volume. Put that up there.
Cache is show that decrypts the secrets of cybersecurity one byte at a time. I'm your host, Kaiser Clark, and in this episode, I have another Q&A episode for you, where you, the viewer/listener,
purple teaming,
ask questions and I answer them here on the Hackers Cache podcast. Before we get into the questions, I do want to say that DEF CON has basically begun. So when this video releases, when this audio releases, DEF CON's literally the next day. So I'm actually, at the time of this recording, en route to DEF CON, and I just want to say, hey.
I don't know if a lot of you have watched this dude's videos. As you can see, he is quite certified. Just look at the back of his background here. He's got the hacker mask. I mean, that's the most important part. He's got the SAL1. That's the second most important part. The third most important part is the CEH. Like, you don't even need to pay attention to anything else here. He's a certified ethical hacker, folks. So yeah. I mean, it helps that he has the OSCP. But let's just see.
I'm going to be at DEF CON. So if you are going to be at DEF CON, hit me up and feel free to meet with me. I'd love to chat with you, love to meet with you. So if you're at DEF CON, definitely don't be afraid to say hi. I'm looking forward to meeting as many of you as I possibly can. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the questions. Question number 1. What do companies charge for a pen test would be a great topic to explore. Also, what is a typical day in the life of a newly joined pen tester and then a senior joining a new company? Would love to know your insights into these alien worlds.
I didn't realize this was a Q&A. The title makes it seem like it's actually a expose. Is there a part in here where he actually splits it off? Why Kaiser? Unnecessary. What is that? What is this?
All right, next question. Great video. Since you have 19 certs, I have to ask, obviously OSCP and CISP are must-haves, but out of the rest, which ones do you feel you didn't really need, and which ones are you glad you got? So this is an interesting question. So this is basically asking me, like, hey, what certifications did you get that you don't think you really needed? And to answer the question in short, like, every certification I got for a reason, and I'm glad I got every single one of them.
Ooh,
but however, there are some that I was like, I didn't really need. So
okay,
I would say the first one would probably be the CCNA. I always talk about how, like, the Network Plus would have been good enough for a pen testing position, because I haven't touched a Cisco firewall or switch in my career.
But you're a pen tester. I mean, nobody knows where I work. We use we use primarily, and we advise primarily Cisco devices. So knowing how they work, you'd think he would back up the CCNA a little bit more.
Career, and even in my current role, we don't use Cisco firewalls and switches. We use a different brand's firewalls. So CCNA was a little overkill, if I'm honest. So that was one I didn't really need. I'm glad I got it because it forced me to really understand networking, because it is a harder networking certification than the Network Plus. So in that sense, I am glad I got it, and it's going to help me land other future cybersecurity engineer roles in the future, because CCNA is a good one for cybersecurity engineers, and that's kind of the direction I'm going in right now. Like, I got cloud security engineer, and eventually I can see myself becoming a cybersecurity engineer at my current company or even another company. So it's going to come in handy. So that's probably the one I didn't need the most, but I'm very glad I got it. And that's a very hard certification, by the way. I did fail that my first time. I don't fail certs often, but that was one of the ones I did.
Ooh, red flag. He failed the CCNA. Okay, that's all I need to know. No, I thought there was going to be more to this than him just doing a Q&A. There's a video that I think we should go into, because I watched like 10% of it, and it was, I think it was this one. Not worth it anymore.
Hello. Welcome to the Hacker's Cache, the show that decrypts the secrets of cybersecurity one byte at a time. I'm your host, Kaiser Clark, and today I have another Q&A episode for you, where you, the audience, drops comments, asks questions in the YouTube comments, and then for the past few weeks. So going back 2 episodes ago, the one where I talked about what happened, why I took my long break, and all that stuff, my second most watched podcast at this point. That episode, I was talking about how I was interviewing with like 5 companies, and I was very close to getting a job offer. Well, turns out that I am no longer interviewing with any companies, and that job offer that I thought I was going to get, they pretty much ghosted me, which is absolutely insane, because I did a
Yeah, here it is. Okay. I had some interesting thoughts on the way he felt after the responses he got when he was applying to jobs. And I will preface this with saying, I don't really know I don't really know Kaiser. Haven't talked to him, but I got some opinions. I'll try to keep him what do you call it? Constructive.
Very, very good video interview. And then I did a very, very good in-person interview. Like, I went in person and met these people in person. And
okay, I kind of skipped ahead, but did you catch that? He said it was a very, 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 very good interview. I haven't felt very, 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 very good about any of my interviews. And I think that sets you up to be pissed off. It's like, I've read comments where there's like, oh, you're just, what do they say? It's not bad to be confident, but it's like, yeah, you could be confident without thinking so highly of yourself that when something happens like this, where you're not accepted for a position, then you take it to heart, and it just clearly you're thinking too highly of yourself if you do take it to heart. So a little introspection maybe that they need to do on how they view themselves.
Just crickets, man. Crickets. I emailed them a follow-up, and nothing. They didn't even reject me. They didn't even give me nothing. So I don't know what's going on.
That's
there.
common.
I'm probably not going to get the job, because it's been multiple weeks since that interview, and I was supposed to be here back by the end of the week. And every week I keep hitting them up, and nothing. Crickets. So the job market, I keep saying the last 2 episodes, I keep saying how it's bad, guys, and it really is bad. It really is bad. You got people like me. I still get rejected, which is, to me, mind-boggling. Like, I don't know. This might be my ego talking, but to me, it doesn't make any sense. I have 8 years of real-world, well, technically 7.5 years of real-world experience that took a half year off. 7.5 years of real-world production experience in real networks and real applications. 6 of that is cyber defense operations, and 2 of that is pen testing. Now, there is an overlap between my my cyber defense and pen testing because I had an internship while I was transitioning out of the military. So just under 2 years of pen testing experience, real world pen testing experience. I can't stress that enough. Real.
Obviously, I haven't watched every every bit of this video, but I think he is gauging, unless he's, I would need to know if he's basing this opinion where he's saying it's all messed up and he's got all this experience and not even he can land a job. I would need to know if he's referring to actual, like a ton of this that he's experiencing, or if it's just a handful. Because regardless of the amount of experience, you'll go on LinkedIn, which is an AI slopstorm, and you'll see people complaining they have 10 years of experience in production environments and they still can't get a job. Well, it's like, okay, well, what are you doing to get to that job? And it's like, how are you reacting to these no's that you're getting? Are you sitting down and thinking, okay, what could have led to them saying no? Maybe somebody actually applied that was just a little bit better than them, and that read during the interviews to the interviewers. So they got the impression that the other person was more qualified. So maybe it's actually a communication issue that you're not able to articulate how much better you are than all the people who are applying. But it's also possible that you have just your work cut out for you. There's people who are out there who are just better and they will be able to articulate better than you. And you just have to keep applying until you are the number one applicant in that job applicant pool. And you just keep doing that. A business has no reason to listen to your being qualified and go with you when they have a better applicant. Like I don't think he's thinking about that.
19 certifications, 2 degrees, bachelor's and a master's, and I'm currently working on my MBA. And I have read...
Sorry, another thought. It just seems like he feels like he's the most qualified he will ever be. And that's the problem.
Dozens of hacking books and cybersecurity books. I have listened to hundreds of podcasts. I have produced dozens of podcasts myself. I've produced hundreds of videos, walkthroughs. I have done 125 hack the box machines, and I've done over 220. I'm probably at like 230 try hack me rooms now, and I've done the Burp Suite Web Security Academy, and I've
all that is fine and dandy, right? You do all this extracurricular, I think you can call it extracurricular work on Try Hack Me and Hack the Box, and I publish all this, and I'm super active in the community. But at the end of the day, a job listing is asking for a specific skill set. They don't necessarily care how much extracurricular things you do. It sets you apart, sure. But if somebody comes in and they check off 1 or 2 more things off the list, and it's evident in the interviews and your resume that the other applicant checks those, it doesn't matter. You could actually have more experience overall. But if you fit what they need to do what they do in that position, say it's 4 years of experience, but they know 4 years of experience in these specific set of tools, they will potentially they'll potentially go for that person, even though you have 8 years of experience in all this and you do all this extracurricular stuff. Yeah.
Literally done everything. Like I genuinely don't know what
rooms.
more I could do. The only thing that I haven't done that I could do that would maybe make my resume look better would be like go get a CVE. I don't have any CVEs right now. Maybe do a conference talk. That's another.
Maybe take a look. Like it might be that he's very unlucky, but I don't think he's actively reading the job description, comparing it to his resume as much as he needs to be doing it, and doing some reflection on how qualified is he really on those jobs. And like I said before, maybe he's just not lucky and there was somebody a little bit better.
Thing I haven't done, but for the most part, man, I'm checking off all the boxes that these employers are asking for, but I still get rejected. I'm like,
not all of them.
How am I getting rejected? Like who's bidding me out? So it's just, to me, it's crazy. So here's what I think's happening. So I am applying to a lot of non-pen testing roles. As you guys know, that this Hacker Cash was made with offensive security in mind, because that's what I was geared towards in my career. But now, ever since I left my last pen testing role, I've been applying it to more defensive cyber positions. And I don't have as much defensive cyber experience. Now, I do have 6 years cyber defense operations experience from the US military. However, that was more IT and system administration. And it was barely cybersecurity. So I don't really have real world like cybersecurity engineer experience. I don't have real world SOC analyst experience. And because of that, these employers can kind of just read resume like, oh, this guy has never done blue teaming. And they just auto reject me. But even on pen testing,
so he's not checking all the boxes. Methinks
jobs I apply for, these pen testing jobs, they want 5 years experience. It's like they see 2 years experience. This guy doesn't have 5 years experience, reject. And it's like, it's crazy to me. It's very annoying too, to be honest with you. And that's why I've been thinking about, is it even worth getting into cybersecurity? Because I look at people who are listening to this and watching this podcast, and you might be watching, there's a lot of you watching and listening right now who have 1, 2 certifications and no experience. And if that's you, like that, you're going to get rejected every time. You won't even get an interview because the competition is that steep somehow. I don't.
Oh boy. Is it that hard to think big picture? It might be because he's just so jaded. You are likely going to have an uphill battle if, like he said, 1 certificate and you're applying to entry-level roles. Yes. There's no question that it is oversaturated right now in all entry-level positions, quote-unquote entry-level. He's not even applying to those. Why is he speaking the experience he's having to mid-level positions to entry-level positions? Entry-level is entry-level. I keep saying entry-level with the caveat, entry-level for a reason. A lot of them are going to have lower bars. They're still going to be higher than you probably expect. You're probably going to need more than just 1 cert. Security Plus isn't going to get you that job right now. But if you can get 2, 3 project experience, network properly, you can get those positions, and provided you have the personality for it, as some of you are commenting, being a little humble in these interviews, but also being able to confidently articulate your skills, your interest, your passion for it in a way that doesn't just rub them the wrong way, then you will get the positions. He's generalizing. I don't like it when people generalize their experience across everybody's experience. I try to be analytical, be logical about reasons, like remove emotion from the equation. Why you're not getting a job comes down to things you can write down and take a hard look at and be like, oh, I didn't get this job likely because of this. But if you can't do that, then you're going to continue to wallow and you're probably going to burn yourself out and never get that job. So I don't think there's probably more to this video. Navigating. Yeah, I think it's just another Q&A. It kind of just goes on like that. I wanted to watch this one. This one's actually fully fleshed out, a brief one. Yeah, sometimes all you need is 2 years an associate, and it happens just like that. How much networking he did, and if he did network, how much he went about doing so. Exactly. And you'd think, because he's got a decent following. I hate saying following, but as a content creator, like branch out a little bit. Like try to network with people in the community and see if they know somebody. Like I recently applied to security engineer positions, and it wasn't me like desperately trying to find a job, because the job I have right now is cake. It is absolute cake. The only problem is I have to do more analyst work than I am comfortable with. It's more like vulnerability analysis, reviewing high severity incidents, or assisting with those. I want to just be like behind the scenes building stuff. If something breaks, they can let me know. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get right on that. And then I go in and I fix it without having to be in an incident call. So I was just kind of poking around. And if I probably leverage a following, it's networking 2.0. It would be so much easier if I just use that. But I was trying to just see how bad it is from cold applying. And it sucks. It really sucks. You get ghosted 9 times out of 10. That's just the nature of the game. And like I said before in previous videos, it's just a numbers game if you're cold applying. If you're networking, use everything in your power to network. So yeah, I'd also be curious. What did he do to actually network? How far did he go with it? Is he using every resource he has available? Because it only takes one. It takes one person to be like, oh, yeah, I'll interview. Like, oh, you're really qualified. And then you get hired and then you're there for 2 years and you're making money. That simple. You just graduated your bachelor's. Your average white hat, like your name. He thinks his tech expertise is all that matters. Yeah, it goes. Soft skills are undervalued by people. It's like, oh, I'm so smart, and then you interview them, and you're like, yeah, you're smart, but my God, was that guy an ass? So it's like, I'm not a people person, but I've worked in customer service long enough that I know you got to swallow your pride and just chill out. It's not that big of a deal. Look at your local government. Exactly. Government agencies, like there's so much opportunities out there and it can be overwhelming. But if you build a system that covers all of it over time so that you're hitting all your bases, you're doing all your networking, you're hitting all the jobs available, then you are setting yourself up to eventually land a job. There's no guarantee whether that'll be 6 years for someone or 1 year or 2 years, but eventually you will land the job. And then you get job experience and you make big money. There's a payoff at the end if you stick with it. It is absolutely necessary to network. I would say it's absolutely necessary, but it is like a cheat code.
2026 is broken. Layoffs.
2026 is broken.
And Meta have all announced new rounds of layoffs.
Entry-level hiring at the top 15 tech companies has fallen by more than 50% since 2019. More than 126,000 tech workers were laid off in 2025 alone. But despite all of that, lots of tech companies are...
And I'm sure all of you know this, but all of these are clickbaity titles. The news is so hyperbolic when it comes to these things. So take those with a grain of salt. It's really easy to just see like 10 AI has replaced X amount of jobs. And then in your mind, as somebody who's just starting out in cybersecurity, maybe you're in college or grabbing some certs, you're like, ah, crap, did I pick the wrong field to be in? And it's the nature of news. They have to be as hyperbolic with these as possible to get you to read them. So
still increasing hiring, especially for AI, cloud, and product roles, and demand for tech talent hasn't disappeared. So what is the true reality of the tech job market? Hi friends, I'm Maddie. I'm a senior software engineer who previously worked at Google and internet other big tech companies.
Damn, look at all that. Software engineer, software developer. Nice. Okay. A qualified individual.
Like Amazon, IBM, and Microsoft. I've watched colleagues get laid off, helped friends navigate the chaotic job market, and I've been through the hiring process myself on both sides of the table. So today, I'm going to talk about the reality of what's happening right now in the tech job market, and more importantly, what's actually working for people who are landing jobs. We'll cover the real data behind what's happening, who's getting hit hardest, and the specific strategies that are working for people who are getting jobs and adapting to this new landscape. So let's get into it. Let's start with the data on the current status of the tech market going into 2026.
What's
tech
happening?
job postings are down 36% compared to pre-pandemic levels. And here's the
US tech job postings have gone from boom to bust. All right, so what are we looking at here? This is from Indeed, one of the better platforms. LinkedIn is shite compared to Indeed right now, by the way. I almost exclusively would go with Indeed at this point. I have had zero, which is funny because my previous boss, when she was posting applications for security analysts, she started on Indeed, was getting AI bots in the sense that they were answering the questions with AI. So she's like, oh, LinkedIn's better. It's like, in my experience, it's not. I got the job with my boss there through Indeed. So let's see, what is 64 job postings overall in tech? Tech's spiked and down. Yeah, that makes sense. This basically explains layoffs to some degree. As a whole, it looks like everything all jobs are just trending down. So it sucks everywhere. If it's going to suck everywhere, you might as well go where the big money's at, right?
They've been pretty stable at that low level since mid-2025. There's no sign of a boom coming back anytime soon. We've entered into what experts are calling a low hire, low fire environment. Companies aren't doing as many mass layoffs like 2022 and 2023, but they're also not opening up many new roles. More than 126,000 tech workers were laid off in 2025 alone, and layoffs are probably not stopping in 2026. Just in the past few months, we've seen massive cuts at Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and dozens of smaller companies. For example, Synopsys announced plans to cut about 2,000 employees. Intel is letting go of hundreds. Even AI companies aren't immune. Scale AI laid off 14% of its workforce just weeks after landing a massive deal with Meta. But a confusing part of this entire equation is that companies are simultaneously laying off while saying they can't find enough skilled workers. Research predicts that the IT skills shortage will cost organizations $5.5 billion. Robert Half reported that 87% of tech leaders currently face challenges finding skilled workers. So what's going on? How can there be layoffs and a skills shortage at the same time? The market isn't dying, it's splitting in two. Generalist roles are disappearing while specialized positions are exploding. Tech job postings requiring AI skills nearly doubled from about 5% in 2024 to over 9% in 2025. Meanwhile, overall programmer employment dropped 27% between 2023 and 2025. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is projecting that tech jobs will grow from 6 million in 2025 to over 7 million by 2035.
I think the gist of that is they're restructuring. So there's layoffs everywhere. The titles will read AI has replaced these roles. AI is coming for your job because, of course, that's what they're going to put in there. AI is like the buzzword that gets the clicks. But the restructuring is going to happen regardless. So if you get a job in a FANG company or whatever you call it now, MANGA, I don't know what the new acronym is, you run the risk of getting laid off during these restructure periods because things are constantly changing, and it sucks. Rather than restructure internally and tell people they need to do these new things, they decided the best option is to just give them the boot and then rehire people as needed. So you're firing people, projects for no good reason, other than they want to try something new. And the new thing involves AI, which the people coming in that are going to get hired from these tech job growth are just going to have a different skill set. And so even if you learn those, the new skill set they're looking for, you're not going to be able to plead your case. It's just like at a whim, it seems. And that's the risk of working in these bigger companies. The company I work for, we're very lean, so this would never happen. If I got fired from my current position, it wouldn't be for no reason. There would be a damn good reason. So that's just something to keep in mind with these statistics.
For example, data scientists are projected to grow by over 400%, cybersecurity analysts by over 360%, and software engineers by nearly 300%. But here's the catch. Those aren't the same jobs that existed 5 years ago. The roles that are growing required specialized expertise, not general programming skills. So when you hear tech is dead, that's wrong. And when you hear tech is booming, that's also wrong.
Tech is changing.
The truth is somewhat in between. Some corners of tech are absolutely thriving while others are getting gutted. Okay, so let's rewind a bit. How did we get here? There are three forces that converge to make this happen. First, pandemic overhiring. Remember 2021? Social media was flooded with day-in-the-life videos of tech workers showing off office perks, while news articles advertised massive salaries.
Oh, man.
Computer science enrollment at many unis literally doubled. Everyone and their mother decided to become a software engineer, and companies hired like crazy to match. Amazon and Meta both doubled their headcount during the pandemic boom.
Jeez.
They hired more engineers in 2 years than they had in the previous 5 combined. Google's engineering headcount grew by 16%. The money was cheap, growth seemed infinite, and everyone was building for a digital-first world that they thought was permanent. Then reality hit. Consumer habits shifted back to normal. Interest rates went up. Venture capital dried up. Companies realized that they could maintain productivity with smaller, more experienced teams. And that
Oh man, that too. That's the real kicker here. Productivity. That was the key word there. So there is this expectation with AI that upper managers like, hey, you can use AI now, but we expect your productivity to go boop through the roof. And if that happens and when that happens, because obviously AI does help with productivity, they start to look at the numbers and they start to get, I would say greedy, lack of a better word, in the sense that they want to reduce their margins. And I've recently been looking into business stats like that. Margins is effectively how much profit you make versus how much money you have to spend to make that profit. So if you have less employees, this is obvious, less employees, but you're making the same amount of profit, no shit, more money. So they're trying to squeeze profits anywhere they can. So if you're producing twice the amount of work, then they, in their mind, they think that they can probably lay off a quarter, 10%, and there should be no impact because they're still going up because of the AI usage. So it is a scary thought, but kind of the nature of AI getting put in everything.
Massive hiring spree turned into an equally massive correction. And all those students who enrolled in computer science during the hype, they're graduating around now in 2025 and 2026 into the worst entry-level market in decades. Second, AI changed the economics of hiring. GitHub reports that 46% of code on their platform is now AI generated. Google says that 25% of their new code comes from AI. The interesting thing is that AI isn't necessarily making engineers faster. A recent study found that experienced developers using AI tools like Cursor and Claude were actually 19% slower at completing tasks, but yet they were convinced they were faster. They predicted AI would make them 24% more productive, and even after seeing their slower results,
does this debunk my whole productivity comment?
They still believed it had sped them up. It's what I call the productivity placebo. The real impact isn't on actual absolute levels of productivity, it's on how companies think about hiring. Companies now expect every engineer to leverage AI effectively. The groundwork that used to train junior developers writing boilerplate, fixing simple bugs, doing code reviews on straightforward PRs, those tasks are increasingly automated. So companies think they can skip the juniors entirely and hire experienced engineers.
So the productivity is not in the complicated, well, eventually it will be the complicated stuff once AI is exponentially smarter than it is now. Scary thought to have. But the tedious stuff gets automated, and that then turns the overall productivity of the entire team up. So it's not just confusing, I know.
Who can hit the ground running. After all, why invest in training someone for 6 to 12 months when you can hire someone who's productive on day one? Third, global talent competition. Large companies got comfortable with remote hiring during the pandemic. They learned that work can be done online with distributed teams. So why pay a senior engineer in the US $150K when you can hire someone with similar skills in Argentina for $60K or India for $40K? The math is simple for these companies watching their bottom line. This opened doors for global talent, but also trimmed opportunities for local hires in the US, especially at the entry level where the value proposition is hardest to justify. Put these three forces together, oversupply of new grads, AI reshaping job responsibilities, and global competition, and you get the market we have today. Now let's talk about who's really feeling the pain.
That was nice and concise. So here you go. This I think actually that sums it up pretty well. So oversupply of new grads. I'd like to see statistics on that. I don't know if there's more now than there were before. I'd say because, well, I think they're strictly speaking about just tech as a whole, not just cybersecurity, but cybersecurity interest has grown. Obviously, it's become more mainstream. So there might be an oversupply of new grads there. AI is definitely reshaping job responsibilities. That is a unquestionable thing. And then global competition, again, statistics, it really just depends on the company, whether or not they can outsource easily and what that entails as far as their contracts. If they're tied to government, they might not be able to do that. So it's tough.
We have today. Now let's talk about who's really feeling the pain. And unfortunately, it's new grads and entry-level candidates. According to Federal Reserve data, computer science graduates face 6.1% unemployment. For context, philosophy majors have a 3.2% unemployment.
Whoa, wait,
1%
what?
Unemployment.
Good God. Double. That's crazy.
For context, philosophy majors have a 3.2% unemployment. Art history graduates, just 3%.
Really,
Even
though?
journalism majors are doing better at 4.4%. The
Bruh.
learn to code promise has completely flipped.
There's no way. Are you serious? I find that incredibly hard to believe. Oh, they don't have resources linked. No resource. Okay, fine.
Entry-level positions have seen a staggering 73% decrease in hiring rates in the past year compared to just a 7%.
The reason I don't believe those statistics is that you graduate as a history major. What? I guess there's probably less people going into that major than others. Yeah. I would imagine it'd be hard to land a role as a history buff because those are so far and few. Whereas you compare it to software engineering, which is what computer science people would be going after, and there would be so much more supply. That's interesting. I wonder, I'm curious where those stats came from.
7% decrease across all job levels overall. Junior roles in engineering, marketing, and people ops are getting hit even harder than that average. And only 7% of new hires at big tech companies in 2024 were recent grads. Back in 2022, it was 25%. That is not a small shift. That's the entry pathway into tech shrinking by more than 2/3 in just 2 years. Signal Fire found that while hiring for mid and senior level roles rebounded a bit in 2024 after the 2023 layoffs, it continued to decline at the entry level. Companies learned that they could maintain productivity with experienced teams and just skip the training investment entirely. But as one hiring expert put it, if you don't hire and nurture young talent now, what will your mid-level and leadership positions look like in 5 years?
True.
We're heading towards some very difficult and expensive recruitment to fill that gap. But that's a future problem, and companies are focused on the bottom line right now. But I promise this isn't just doom and gloom. Let's talk about what's actually working for people who are landing jobs right now. First, specialize, don't generalize.
Yeah,
the market is punishing
pick your niche.
generalists and rewarding specialists. AI skills now command a 56% wage premium.
I made a video on this, but cloud and AI is asked for a lot, which is why I'm doubling down on the cloud teachings. Because, yeah, and I'm putting AI in there too, so.
Over workers without AI expertise. That's up from just 25% the year before. Python, AWS, CI/CD, and AI ranked as the top tech skills with the largest year-over-year increase in job listings. Next, pick a lane. Whether it's AI engineering, cloud architecture, cybersecurity, data engineering, or ML ops, go deep rather than wide. The people getting hired have a clear specialty, not just a vague full-stack label. Second, build proof, not just credentials. Employers aren't impressed by degrees alone anymore. The number of HR leaders using skills-first hiring has tripled in just 2 years. 18% are now prioritizing certificates and demonstrated skills over traditional degrees for roles in software engineering and data science.
We're slowly healing from bachelor's and college degrees.
So build projects that solve real problems. Put them on GitHub with clear documentation.
Yeah. They might say this, but I've said this so many freaking times. The projects that you need to be doing should be projects that prove you're able to do the job that you're applying to do. If it has nothing to do with the job, it doesn't matter how impressive it is. It's not going to help you land the job, and it's wasting space on your resume. Clear instructions on GitHub, as they said, yes. Clear documentation, even better. If you can demonstratively, that's a word, prove through the documentation and then explain it in interviews, especially, and it is pertinent to getting the role and what you need to be doing in the role, then that's going to make you stand out like crazy. That's probably why they would even interview you in the first place, because they see your project and you're like, oh, damn, they're already doing the job, just not getting paid for it.
And write about what you learned. You can contribute to open source as well. The people getting hired aren't just applying, they're showing evidence of what they can do. Your portfolio doubles as a resume. Next, target the right companies. A lot of people are focused on FANG, but that's where competition is the most brutal. Mid-sized companies, growing startups, and non-tech industries that need tech talent are often overlooked. For example, healthcare, fintech, enterprise software, and even banks are actively hiring software engineers and AI specialists. Sometimes
Yeah, seriously, everybody wants to work at FANG. How about you broaden your horizon? I'm actually curious because I want to get like 10 people, and I want 10 people who can't get a job, and they have like a mixed bag of credentials and projects and all that. And I just want to like, hey, give me everything that you've done, and so I could do like a case study and be like, look, these people complain, and then these people complain, and then these, and then like compare and contrast what they're doing that's failing And maybe some of them are purely trying to get these remote FANG jobs that everybody wants. And they haven't even touched all these, what are these? Healthcare, fintech, all these like obscure, nobody knows about. Like SCADA, ICS. Like people don't even realize how much opportunity there is in cybersecurity because they're just chasing pen testing and red teaming because that's where all the glam is at being an ethical hacker. It's very frustrating.
Actively hiring software engineers and AI specialists. Sometimes the best opportunities are where everyone else isn't looking. Fourth, leverage your network relentlessly. 1 in 4 people say personal connections play the biggest role in securing their job. Referrals aren't just nice to have.
That's always
They're
true.
essential when your resume isn't competing against hundreds of others. Go to meetups, contribute to open source, engage meaningfully on LinkedIn, and build relationships
Join the
before
Discord.
you need them. And finally, learn to work with AI, not against AI. Companies expect engineers to use AI tools effectively, but more importantly, they want people who can do what AI can't. They want people who can make judgment calls, navigate ambiguity, communicate with stakeholders, and understand business context. The engineers who thrive will be those who use AI to amplify their capabilities, not those who try to compete with it. So in conclusion, the tech job market in 2026 isn't actually dead. It's transforming. Yes, the bar is higher than it's ever been, but new opportunities are emerging for people who can adapt. The question isn't whether tech careers are worth pursuing. They absolutely are. The data shows massive growth in specialized roles. The question is whether you're willing or able to evolve with the market. If this video helped you understand what's really happening with the tech market in 2026, feel free to hit that like button, hype this video, and subscribe for more tech career content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right. I thought this one would be interesting too. Microsoft layoffs. This was a recent video by kind of a bigger creator, Eli the computer guy. That's a roll off the tongue, I'd say. Microsoft lays off employees. Shocker. But yeah, so I guess recap on that. It's, as a whole, the tech job market is adjusting to AI. Layoffs, I think, are going to happen and have happened forever, and it's not going to change in big tech. You get these massive numbers, and they look crazy on paper, and the doom and gloom is easy to chase. That was a good video. It was very concise. I agree. Build a time machine, go back to the 80s. Yeah. Well, let's see what they have to say, actually. In what is their description? They don't have anything in description. So we're going in as blind. Let's see.
Microsoft cuts 4,800 jobs as Xbox unit downsizes and plans to spin off 4 gaming studios. So if you are currently working at Microsoft, it is a bit of a tenuous environment, right? They got rid of thousands of employees last year. They got rid of thousands of employees the year before. It does seem like...
Let me just link this real quick. All right, posted the link there.
Like they keep doing these small layoffs. They just had a voluntarily buyout right here. Take cash and get the fuck out the door. Microsoft is just dumping employees left and right. And it is curious to see. The other thing that's curious to see here is with Xbox, apparently they're getting rid of 1/5 of their staff. 20% of their employees for Xbox are basically being told to get the hell out. And that doesn't seem to include the studios that they are spinning off. And so one of the things I've talked about many times before in the technology world is that it is very weird when certain failures happen, right? When you see some startup companies and they fail, you shrug your shoulders like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh.
But a lot of failures in the technology world,
failing.
honestly,
It's failing. I forgot another code. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to actually explain his thoughts on what's causing the Microsoft layoffs. But let me generate another Azure Fundamentals code. Get your fingers ready. First person to use the code gets the code and all of its usage glory. Let's see. Hopefully you have an account because that takes a second to create too. All right. Discounts, create discount. some Grizzly Hills going. Oh, ominous. For the 10 seconds it takes me to create this discount code. This is for the Mad Hat Labs. I think that's still pinned. I don't know if that runs out, but if you click into there, create an account if you don't have one. This is for the full lifetime access Azure Fundamentals course. Hey, let's see. What do I want to code? Yeah. All right. End date. Cool beans. Discount code generating. Okay, we copy pasted that over. All right, fingers ready. We're getting the discount. It costs 49 bucks. Currently, it's gonna be 79 bucks in on my son's birthday, which is my firstborn son's birthday, on the 11th. So a couple days. So this is for that. And paste that in, hit OK. Ready, set. Oh, it's a long code. Okay, that's good placement. There you go. There's the code. I said don't learn it. AS400. Bro, that is fake, or you just created AS400? What? You need to know networking before diving into cybersecurity. Currently, I work in a service desk role. Would you recommend me to get CCNA certified first? I'd recommend you learn networking. That's for damn sure. If you don't have a good foundation of networking, you're going to fall flat on your face on anything that they teach you from, I hate using hacking, but like ethical hacking perspective. So breaking into things, you're not going to be able to fully understand those unless you have a good grasp of networking. Network packets, what goes into those, routing protocols, TCP, UDP, the basic shit. And that's, I'm pretty sure that's case sensitive, but let's see how long it takes for somebody to get that. Let me refresh the page. Oh, still up for grabs. 100% off. Azure Fun. Full access to Mad Hat Labs subscription. You get to poke around, do all the fun things. The things that interest me and made me want to do cloud, honestly, was poking around in Azure. All the services you could do. Make it super easy. Oh, some still not taken. Someone got it? Are you fresh? No? Products. Is it just delayed on my end? Oh, there, somebody got it. 12:02, 2 minutes ago. Nice. All right, moving on. Oh, that's so peaceful. Makes me want to play WoW again. Grizzly Hills. All right, let's get back to what Mr. Microsoft is saying. Yep. Discount is a one and done, and they got it.
Very confusing. I always bring up the whole idea of Google Plus, right? Google Plus was supposed to compete with Facebook. And now here's the deal, right? If Google Plus did not become the premier social network and bury Facebook, I think we can all grasp why that wouldn't have happened. But what's very weird is that Google Plus is dead. Google Plus has now been dead for many, many years. After all of the effort, after all of the arm twisting, after everything that Google did to try to make Google Plus successful, it is just dead, 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 dead.
Does anybody know what Google Plus is?
Google.
I'm sorry, what? Do I live under a rock? What is Google Plus? Oh, it was a social networking platform launched by Google in June of 2011. It was to compete with Facebook. Well, it gone done died because, yes, I don't know what that is. And that was right at my peak Facebook usage, honestly. Interesting.
Stadia, for we were staying in the Google world. Stadia was supposed to be the online cloud gaming platform. Now, if online cloud gaming did not take off in the trajectory that they expected, I think that is something that is understandable. But it's also weird that it's dead, right? A company that probably has one of the largest infrastructure bases in the world, a company that with YouTube and the other things that they do would have the specialized knowledge and would have the bandwidth and capacity to host something like online gaming and actually be successful at it from a technical standpoint, and it is dead. And so one of the curious things to look at right now with Microsoft and Xbox is if you look at Microsoft, they're a technology company with coders. They've owned Xbox now for 25 years. It's been around for a long time, right? If nothing else, Xbox should be a reasonable business for Microsoft. You know,
I think he's explaining all this just to say the layoff shouldn't have happened. But let me get to this question first before. Thank you for the super chat, Julio. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry if I did. Hey, Mad Hat. I saw your last video and you said, ask, have you tried cyber for cloud security learning and what are your thoughts on it? Oh, I remember this question. I meant to look into it and I have not heard of cyber. I don't know if anybody in the chat has has heard of cyber, but it is, from what I could tell, AWS focused. Let me take a look at the labs real quick. How long have they been around? Geez, they got a lot. I mean, if it's cheap, let's look up pricing. $20 a month, yearly. Yeah, I would test it out. If you're really keen on learning AWS, like now, there's no risk there other than losing $20. Maybe they have free modules too. I think the one thing I would I'd advise you to look at from any platform perspective is, does it provide hands-on? Can you poke around AWS to actually learn what they're teaching? And beyond that, are they teaching A to Z? And meaning, are they just teaching a bunch of random things here and there that don't holistically get you to fully understand what a business uses it for? Or are they just like kind of fun little games here and there? So those are the things that I would look for in a learning platform. Because you're going to confuse yourself even more if you just go down rabbit holes on hyper-specific cloud misconfiguration attack vectors. As it goes straight, cloud security as someone working currently in advanced support role. That's a loaded question. That kind of question might need a longer answer in Discord. I posted the link a little bit earlier. It's also in the description if you're on YouTube. Should be in the description. So click on that. You can post a question in there.
We can accept that PlayStation may be better than Xbox, but you would think it would be a pretty solid business as far as Microsoft is concerned. And apparently, it looks like no, it's failing pretty bad. And that's before all of the the price increases come down the pike. Apparently now for the Xbox X, One X, whatever the hell it's called, they want $750 for an Xbox.
I have never owned an Xbox in my life. What is the most recent Xbox console? Latest. Xbox Series XS. X? What is the price? $750 is insane. Series X retails for $800. All digital is $750. Okay. Yeah, that's a little steep. I'll stick to my computer games. Thank you.
I'm just not sure how you convince people to put that kind of money down for something like an Xbox. And so the issue is if that's how much Xboxes are costing, and they already are having a problem in the market, it seems like it's only going to get a lot worse. The other interesting thing with this story is when you look at numbers. I talked about this before with Meta, right? So everybody was focusing on when Meta just laid off like 8,000 people. So they just went through their round of layoffs and they laid off 8,000 people. And one of the things I said is that was actually not the number I was most concerned about. The more interesting number is that they closed 6,000 positions. So it's not really that 8,000 jobs disappeared from Meta. Realistically, it's like 14,000 jobs disappeared from Meta. So the positions that were already filled, they went away, and the positions that were expected to be filled also went away. So from a job hunting standpoint, that is something that is even scarier than the layoffs themselves. One of the curious things with these cuts, which is weird, again, we talk about optics and we talk about numbers, is they talk about with this, it's 4,800 jobs are gone, with another 1,600 from the Xbox division that will be eliminated over the next year. So really, this is like 6,400 jobs being eliminated. They only have to really fess up to the lower number of 4,800 right now. And this is where, if you're still out there in the professional world and the technology world, you do have to look at, you know, what are the numbers that they're telling you to focus on, and then what are all the other numbers that also exist? If we take a look at this, Microsoft said Monday it is immediately eliminating 4,800 jobs, representing 2.1% of its workforce. Its Xbox division will lose about 1/5 of its staff, including 1,600 jobs on Monday, and additional cuts in the coming months. So out of this, so it's 1,600 jobs from Xbox, 3,200 jobs from the rest of Microsoft. But the curious thing is, apparently, the additional cuts are going to be an additional 1,600 on top of this for Xbox.
That's so sleazy.
Let's see here. Xbox will be cutting a total of 3,200 people. Xbox CEO wrote in an email to division employees, half of those roles are part of the 4,800 jobs being eliminated Monday, and the other 1,600 will be exiting throughout fiscal year 2027. As part of Monday's announced changes, 4 gaming studios will be spun out of Microsoft, Coleman said. The commercial businesses that focus on selling to customers will also see reductions. Compulsion Games and Double Fine Production Studios, which Microsoft acquired in the 2010s, will become independent again. Sharma said in her note, Ninja Theory and Undead Labs, which joined Microsoft in 2018, quote, have entered terms to join new ownership, she wrote. So not only are the layoffs happening,
Oh, I broke it. Why did it break? I don't think they're gonna go into
So here we are, broadcasting.
They're just reading that article and just explaining what's happening. I wanted a little more meat on what's happening. I guess that just leaves this. The state, I guess I wasn't getting a whole lot of that video. I don't think you guys probably were either. More or less, layoffs are happening, and it's worse than they make it seem because they're hiding things in the background. So yeah, sure, doom and gloom, whatever. Doesn't really point us to anything helpful. So this video is way more helpful, kind of steer you into a better mindset to have in the current state of everything. But I was curious what CrowdStrike had. They took a survey, and it was gaps in cloud detection and response. And this is my day-to-day. I am in charge of making sure we're detecting and responding as quickly as we can all the crap we have to deal with at work. So can I make this full screen? How do I make this full screen? Let's see. Let's do that and do that. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Nice. Just sad. Had one of a better showcase for Xbox just to tell them most developers they let them go figure it out. Yeah. I'm not surprised by layoffs at this point. Let's see. Table of contents here. Oh. Actually, let's put on some more ambiance so I can focus a little more. My attention span is Actually, wait a minute. Can I provide a link to this? I don't think I can. The problem with this is it probably won't load for you because I had to give them my email. And it has to be a business email too. Let me try an incognito window. Does that load? Am I gonna get in trouble? I don't think so. No, probably not. I don't know. Sue me, I guess. See if that link works for you. Yeah, the one I want to get to is AI adoption, specifically, and how it is affecting the cloud attack surface. That's the part that I'm most interested in. So the reality of cloud detection and response today, cloud environments are a primary target, not surprising because everybody's moving to the cloud. On-premise is for old farts. Most organizations are not equipped to face them. Detecting and responding, yeah, they're not equipped because they're just barely now getting into the cloud, much less securing what they have in the cloud. And there's probably not enough professionals to help secure it, which is why you should go into cloud security. Fundamentally different from doing so in on-premise environments. It is fundamentally different. And the more you poke around in both, you'll see the main differences. The cloud is dynamic, ephemeral, and API-driven with constantly changing identities, configuration, services. That's true. It is constantly changing. There's something that gets deprecated every other week, it seems like. Lacks a fixed perimeter, generates fragmented telemetry, and offers no universal truth. I'd say they're working towards getting unified solutions, but it's tough, yeah, because there's a lot going on in the cloud. Make it difficult to see and understand threat actor activity. Yeah, I'd say the spread in any cloud infrastructure is tough to combine into everywhere, but I think, honestly, from what I've seen, Azure, they've done a good job to let you ingest logs into a unified place, which is their SIEM. So, CrowdStrike Sitka Cloud found that this complexity is creating real consequences. Of course it is. 94% of organizations reported they have experienced cloud intrusions. Damn. If that's not job security, I don't know what is. Security teams are constrained by limited visibility, slowed by manual investigations. Yeah, we're trying to automate that at work. It's kind of tough because we can't automate the responses. We can only automate the triage. Overwhelmed by constantly growing attack surface. AI is making it grow even faster. Adversary behavior often deflects legitimate cloud activity. Sure. Cloud conscious intrusions surged. Yes, everything's going up. What do we do to stop the threats before they escalate? Well, hopefully they tell us in this. Cloud visibility gaps undermine detection. Yes, 73% of organizations cannot consistently detect it. Yeah, because they're probably in an infancy of their security program where they don't have anything built out to detect all the things. And it's constantly evolving too, so you can have enough of a budget to allocate towards the security team to be able to identify all the things. Can't separate signals from noise. Yeah, noise is a main issue, especially with Claude Code. I might add, you get people who hook up Cloud Code to your cloud infrastructure. They start spinning up resources. Not only do you get noise on their endpoints from your EDR solution, but you're also getting noise from the detections built in to the cloud infrastructure, because the way that Claude does it is not always the safest and most expected way. There's anomaly detections in place. This is odd. This user has never done this, but all of a sudden they're accessing API keys and they're using them to scan this this database in Azure or in AWS. Oh boy. Detection response speeds lagging by adversaries. Most organizations minutes or yeah. You'd think minutes is quick, but you gotta be quicker than that. 68% take 15 minutes or more to detect attacks. Yeah, I'd say that's average. 91% aren't able to contain them in real time. I think it's difficult with cloud resources specifically, because it's easy to just isolate an endpoint, but a cloud resource, you got to know what needs to be cut off. Like I'm thinking of just like storage in the cloud. So AWS bucket or an Azure blob. You could certainly just cut off on the virtual network access to it, but then you got to know how to do that. It's not really built into the EDR or SIM tools. So containing them can be not very obvious. Fragmented tools increase operational complexity. Organizations rely on multiple tools. Very true. You gotta have multiple tools to stop all the things. 94% reports integration gaps with their SOC workflows thing. Responds to increasing operational complexity. Yeah. The more tools you get, the more complex it gets, the more things are delayed. And then you got to deal with turnover and hiring people to then understand all the tools you have. Why can't you automate the response? Isn't it just SOAR? We can automate the response. It's just that we can't automate the response if we're using AI. And even if we aren't using AI, what type of response are you thinking when you're saying, why can't you automate it? Why can't we immediately isolate something? Why can't we immediately quarantine something? Because those are built into the basic detections in EDR. But when you're taking in a lot of different signals from a lot of different telemetry, you either need to spend a lot of time to create automation that checks multiple boxes. So there's no situation where you automated something and it did a thing that it shouldn't have done because it didn't meet the criteria, and people get mad because now the web server's down. Or you leverage AI and it scans all the things and it creates that checklist for you. But either way, it's a lot of work to get to the point where you can actually automate everything. A lot of checks and balances. All right, so this is the survey methodology, audience statistics, geography. Everybody who's surveyed to answer these questions. All the sectors. A good mix of all. Good to see. What is cloud detection and response? I think we all know what that is. Essentially, yeah. We're running very lean. Manpower, posture. All right. Key finding 1. Cloud visibility gaps undermine threat detection. So the cloud control plane has become a critical path for modern adversaries. More than half report that gaps in control plane. Lack of visibility is real time. 1/3 to 33% of respondents identify real-time visibility in the cloud control plane. So they don't have visibility, right? Why don't you have visibility? The cloud isn't just about knowing what exists, it's about understanding what is happening across the environment. Agentless approaches can help discover assets and identify posture, but they are not sufficient on their own for threat detection. Detecting adversaries requires runtime, visibility, and workloads. Sure. This isn't being very specific, but yeah, big picture, you need to have visibility into everything running in the cloud. That seems kind of like a duh. Night and night. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, for most organizations, this runtime coverage is complete. 90% of responders report that not all of their cloud workloads and instances are covered by security sensitive agents. That's the big one, honestly. The amount of times I've been in an incident call where we ask, do we have these logs? And they said no, or they say, we have the last 14 days, or we have the last 7 days, because there's a lot and they don't store it. It's happened a lot. But beyond that, less visibility or smaller windows of visibility, there's just outright, we don't have this covered. We have no idea what's happening on this cloud workload or this server or whatever they're running. These gaps matter because of effective detection. So yeah, cover all the things. This seems like a duh. You want to be able to have visibility on everything. 40% of organizations say that lack clear visibility into covering assets. Jeez. All this is reinforcing is my job security, I feel like. Air Poom. Glad to hear I helped in some of your path logs. What logs? Exactly. We don't have the logs, so we can't be held liable, right? Nothing actually happened. Security teams can't separate signals from noise. Yeah, so, I mean, visibility is kind of a duh, but it's... Unless you audit your environment regularly for these gaps in visibility, and tools like Defender have that. Just as an example, device discovery will scan any networks that you have managed devices that are onboarded to Defender. I'm sure all the other BDR tools have a similar feature. And it sees something that is on a managed network that is not covered by EDR. Visibility audit right there. There needs to be a ton of that. And the more you learn about cloud infrastructure, the more you'll find they have that built in. It's just underutilized or not used at all. And when it is used, it's ignored. Hey, you should onboard these or ingest the logs from all these, and then IT or upper management will be like, that's going to cost too much. We'll revisit that next quarter. And then an incident happens, and it's a I told you so moment. And then they enable it then. So it takes, sometimes, a lot of times, it takes an incident to actually get them to say, okay, sure, this is a cost that we need to eat to make sure we have visibility. So next time this happens, we can either detect it or stop it. And at the very least, be able to prove how it happened to then stop a future this from happening. So yeah, visibility is a major issue. Key finding 2, can't separate signal from noise. I think anybody who's worked in defending a SOC or security analyst knows that noise is ass. Cloud environments are built on trusted relationships between identity service APIs. Yeah, it's monitoring a lot of things. Adversaries are using all the things to exploit, and they're using them to blend in. So it's like living off the land, but in the cloud. B2B relationships, yeah. It's tough because establishing these B2B relationships from organizations gives you more streamlined access to be able to collaborate across resources, but it also increases your attack surface level so much. And so you're relying on them being diligent with their security, and you're just opening yourself up to a lot of shit. Partner tenant connections and intra. Yeah, that one's the one I'm familiar with. SaaS provider application secrets. So yeah, if you're using software and using their secrets and they know your secrets and they're storing your secrets, my God. Which cloud provider do I use? Primarily Azure. I'm a Microsoft slop shop. Yeah. Impact radius, exactly. Like I said, the blast radius when you get this trust out to different organizations. Tenant identity level trust, exploiting identity synchronization federation. You start getting these integrations with identity, and identity is the new attack surface, as they say, or the biggest attack surface. Integrations that allow you to leverage authentication via cloud resources. You're opening yourself up. Enterprise-wide access, yeah. So if you're granting over-provisioned access, complete entry ID user base at risk, exactly. Admin privilege escalation, a lot of risks. User level trust, sure. This is just spelling out all the different risks when you start to collaborate, especially across cloud. Adversary behavior often looks identical to normal operations. If they're smart, that's the thing. Like all these places teach you, all these learning platforms and all, even like Microsoft Learn, you can get really bogged down on edge cases. So something glaringly obvious is trying to break in, whether that's a person or whether that's an automated attack. It's just firing all the things. But for someone, or I hate using the word, but I kind of have to, an adversary who is actually smart and is trying to break in, they're going to be subtle. And it's the subtle things that are hard to spot. Compromised credentials, example. To access resources and invoke APIs may be indistinguishable from a legitimate user. Exactly. APIs are scary. You start creating them because they're easy to use, and someone gets access to one and they use it once. Are you going to spot that? Probably not. And as a result of you not spotting it, security teams are left interpreting large volumes of activity. So unless there's noise, more noise than the noise you already have, then you're not going to spot it. So managing noise is like the biggest pain in the ass at work for me. Because in part, I have to tune to make sure that our AI SOC is got some high fidelity determinations, and the alerts and detections and incidents that are being ingested are actually worthwhile and not just a waste of time to be spending the AI SOC or analyst's time. I think noise has been the driving #1 issue in all of SOCs, in all of security analyst teams. Alert volume over security teams. Honestly, if you can properly tune a AI SOC, it can really drastically reduce the crap noise, which is what we need to do, unfortunately. Which is a lot of the junior SOC jobs was dealing with the noise. So you get kind of a shitty situation where you, as a company, are like, all right, we could hire a bunch more. This is happening right now, by the way. You can hire a bunch more junior analysts to do the work, to deal with the noise, and then send that information to detection engineers who are told, hey, this is noise, and then they can slowly over time fix it. Or you can bring in an AI SOC and start to tune that, which then over time, I'm not saying it'll be immediate, but over time, it'll remove the need for hiring as many junior analysts. So then you have to, that raises the bar for the analysts that are hired, so they're no longer as junior as they would have been. They're more versed in true positive abilities. 7? So there's 7 rounds of interviews? Yeah, that's ass. I'm sorry. 7 is insane. I hope that was for a FANG company, because that would make sense if it was. Cloud security tools are generating more alerts than teams can realistically process. Very true. We're actually kind of keeping on top of it at my current role. For having as many endpoints as we do, as much cloud infrastructure as we do, creating noise that obscures real threats, right? It's burying the actual true positives. Even when alerts are generated, they often lack the context needed to determine whether activity is truly malicious. And that's another thing too. Yeah, having the right context in place. If you don't have the logs, you can't provide the context. So establishing that when you have an AI SOC is also important. If it doesn't have the context, then it's going to make wild, outlandish determinations and isolate things that shouldn't be isolating. 78% of the organizations say they cannot distinguish malicious activity. I think I've read this statistic before. Yeah, a lot of times when you can't, I don't know how many of you have been in a situation where you have to verify an alert and there's just no context. You check all your documentation. Nothing says Bob from accounting is supposed to be accessing this database, especially not from Cloud Code. And the only way you can verify that this is not an attack is by where they're doing it. And let's say they're working remote for some reason. Bob decided he wants to work from home today, and he never works from home. And he's doing that, and it's triggering these alerts, and he's accessing things. It's like, oh, how do I verify this? You have to just ask them. You have to go to a channel where you can confirm you're actually talking to Bob and ask him, hey, is this you? Bro, what are you doing? And that could take some time sometimes. In the response time, especially if you don't have direct access to any of those trusted communication channels. So you got to reach out to the IT potentially. They reach out to him. It takes an hour. And in that time, you usually, depending on how bad these commands are, you just lock them down and it could be a pain. Security teams can't decide what to act on. I guess. Even when you have a lot of noise, you have high severity alerts and you have low. So you obviously would pick the higher ones that have a lot of different signals contributing to creating it a high. Obviously, if something says ransomware, or C2 beacon versus, oh, this person visited this questionable URL and that's it. You can kind of prioritize there. I think what this might mean is how they prioritize responding to the overall risks in their organization. Yeah, remediate all identified threats. That's a big ass number. 98%. Is it? Is it towards the bottom? Does it actually do AI SOC agent? Let's see. Let me just skim the rest. Detection and response speed lags between adversaries. I'm kind of getting the feeling, yeah. I've been talking about AI SOC because we use it, but if they have something that's in the works that's doing an AI SOC too, that would make sense. Uncontained threats become breaches. Yeah, obviously. Fragmented tools increase operation complexity. The lack of a single unified view is one of the biggest gaps in their tools. Yeah. If you think about it, I don't. I've worked. My first role, we had multiple EDRs and a SIM. Bouncing between portals was a kind of a pain in the ass. I realized the music might have been a little too loud. The music in the background is WoW music, taverns. If you can query in one portal, that's so much easier. I'm not saying it's impossible, but yeah, having a unified view of everything versus bouncing to this log source over here and this log source over here, and I gotta reference this log source over here. I assume if they're gonna be promoting their AI SOC, that they're gonna say, oh, just ingest it into this one place. Drum roll, is that what happens? AI adoption expands a cloud attack service. Let me just scroll to the bottom in summary. Approach to CDR. Do they mention it? No, they don't. Did I miss it? I know CrowdStrike has a ton of AI and machine learning already built in. Even like, what is this, like 5 years ago now? Last time I used it. No, I think this is just informative. It's not promoting their product at all. It kind of just highlights the main issues with current detection capabilities in the cloud. And until you work where you have a massive cloud infrastructure to detect and respond to, you don't actually see all these come up. So definitely worth auditing. That was a decent read. I thought it'd be more specific than it was. It more or less just reminded me all the crap that I have to deal with at work. AI adoption expands. Yeah, I didn't get to that part because I skimmed it. Among the organization's experienced breach, the effect contributed. Yeah. Adversaries are exploiting weaknesses unique to AI workloads. Oh, I can't wait till I can build out some of those labs. The AI exploitation of cloud infrastructure. I think the big one this one points out to, which is, oh, there was a list on that. OWASP top 10 LLM. Let me see if I can find that. Agentic AI top 10. I think that was it. That was this one. Yeah, OWASP is I'm sure most of you know OWASP is a very handy one to use to gauge what is top of the list to be concerned of. Yeah. OWASP top 10 for large language model applications. Obviously, prompt injection is number 1. That's what everybody talks about. Insecure output handling, training, data poisoning, denial of service. Sure, you guys can check this out. All right. Can I share it on the wrong screen? How many of you can actually get over to Twitch right now if we do the pinball game? We got this bad boy. I played this a while ago. Let's see if anybody can get in. Where? Eye of the Storm. Ooh, that's kind of like express delivery. All right, I don't know if any of you are familiar with this, but there's a few people. If you join via Twitch, let me post the. You can integrate this with YouTube Live as well. I did not put in the work to do that, so if you want to join, you're gonna have to type play in Twitch only. It's only integrated with Twitch. If you join there, get another Azure Fundamentals voucher or 2 for free access if you're wanting to check that out. Whoever wins. Oh, there you go. We got one. Oh. All right. I'll post it there. We got 4. Everybody's on YouTube, so this is kind of like, what do I do? Those are some good odds, though. Got 5 people. This isn't a race for who can type the fastest. It's completely luck. As soon as I hit join, whoever wins, I can DM you the code. I think we'll end it after here. A couple hours. Got 8. 8 folks. You can't play? Oh, shucks. You don't have an account on Twitch? Is that the main issue? Appreciate the super chat. We got 8. I think this is where we're gonna sit at. We use MITRE. We haven't used MITRE Atlas much. MITRE is kind of built into everything. All the tools leverage it to give you an understanding of the tactics being used in a detection. Tactics and techniques and TTPs. Where's this at? This is via Twitch. It's a direct integration that they built out. Marble Streams, whatever it's called. All you got to do is hop over on Twitch, post that command up at the top, !play in the chat, and it automatically enters you. Oh, shucks. Work computer. Maybe I'll get the integration going for YouTube. I don't know how involved that is. It was a custom. There's like a JSON file you gotta customize. It seemed like it might break if I do it wrong. All right. I think I'm gonna set it. Waited long enough. Ready, set. We're do a couple of these. This probably, I'll do 2. All right, see if I can follow this, or if I can lock it maybe. Oh, they get shot out there. They're in the blender. Okay, we got Shadow coming down the hole. How do I follow? What's the command to follow? Is it tab? 1? There we go. We got Captain in the lead. Oh, he's doing the dab. Captain with the dab. All right, we're going to go over here to the obby now and see if it knocks him out. Oh, he hit that. All right. Got the lava ball. Oh, I think Jado's coming in. Oh, he also got stopped. We're just gonna be stuck here. All right. No, he's still in the lead. Wartrons is coming in. The revolving obstacle. Oh no. Now Tion's on. Oh, getting knocked. Now Net's up at the top. Up the boost shooter. Dang, everyone's slacking. Man, look how far behind everyone is. You guys gotta press your buttons faster. Net's on top of it. He's using his boosts. Look at that. Not even close. All right. We got... That's the end, right? Yeah, on the top right. All right. Let me DM. First, let me create a code. Amount of products. That's collections. That's products. Add that over. Okay. What do I call this? I'll call this yeah. Okay. Let's save on that. If you want to send me a DM, or I guess I can try sending you a DM in chat. That might be easier for you to send me a DM, Net Kirasek, and I can give you that voucher code for Mad Hat Labs. Whisper? Maybe I can do it. You have blocked whispers from strangers by sending a... Oh, wow. You won. It retained. Holy smokes. You've been watching for that long? Dang. Net Kirasek won Try Hack Me for a month back when I did those giveaways. A year, almost 2 years ago. That's freaking wild. That's crazy. All right. I'm guessing you got that. But, man, time flies. That's insane. All right. Let's go back to the menu. Yeah, hopefully you get something out of Azure. It's a lot of fun. I think for people starting out, honestly, Azure is more fun, more intuitive, and it for a beginner to then hop into Sentinel and Defender, it's an easier transition. AWS is a lot to consider. It's more engineering for sure. Farewell, Memorable Heaven. Let's see. Splash Mountain. Marble Adventure. All these are fairly short. Ooh, got laser eyes. All right, if you don't already have a Twitch and you want to enter in this last giveaway, this is the same thing. So if you hop over, you'll be able to join the Gauntlet. Oh, I like the name of that. It's got a nice azure blue hue to it. Let's see that. Max marbles. I'm not going to get 1,000 people. All right. Join the vortex, shall we? I'm just trolling people with, you got to press your boost. Yeah, you can't interact with it. I was just trolling. It is entirely random. If it was a skill, like click your buttons faster, that'd be a crappy system to be having giveaways for. All right, we're in full force. The circle is being complete. Installing Twitch sucked. You don't have to install it. Pretty sure even if you're on mobile right now, just open up a browser. Yeah, just trolling with boosters. What is it? Oh man, what's the command? Press F12. The troll in WoW. Command to... Oh yeah, Alt F4. Jeez, I have not been on WoW for long. Press Alt F4 to press your boosters in the game. Oh man. Okay, we have 13. I'm gonna give it a few more seconds. This is the last giveaway. I'm gonna call it here. It's been a couple hours. It has been a stream and a half. Get back to things. All right, we got 14. Who will join and win the free thing? All right, countdown's going down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Alright, we're gone. I guess for future... I should just integrate it with YouTube. I shouldn't force people to go to Twitch. It's just the easiest way to do this. Oops. Alright. Let's follow some people. We got Roly Poly. Everybody's rolling down the hill. For some reason, this one's more direct. Oh, the other ones are more direct too. Going down to Swirly Whirly. Oh, Shadow in the front. No, Shadow no longer in the front. Oh, Tion? Tion? Alright, alright. Cool beans. Where'd you go? We've got Mystic Cat, who's taking the lead, potentially. Going into the vortex. The drier vortex, okay. Got another pipeline here. Mystic Cat really pulled a fast one on you there. Oof. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, no. You got knocked into the... Oh, no. Making it come back. Back to the right place. Ah! What are the odds? Captain. Got the Dab King over here. Oh, he's getting hung up. They're getting hung up on the things. The golf sticks, whatever you call them. Wartron's just out of nowhere. Dude. Oh, Mystic Cat really wants it though. Man. Oh, making some mistakes. Getting hung up on those golf sticks. Wasn't Mike. Wasn't even in the ranking. He just comes out of nowhere. Who is this? Where have you been? What is going on? How did that happen? That was crazy. All right. GG. Wasn't Mike. Was Mike after all. Man. All right. Let me spin up that code and then we'll call it there. Send that to you in DM on Twitch. Discounts. Create a discount. Winner. Nice. Let's make... All right. Sent that over. Cool. Well, maybe I'll have more structure to these lives at some point, or maybe I'll just wing it like I do. Go back to... oh, did I close out of that? I must have. Oh, I didn't close out of it. It's wrong window. F11 for the win. There we go. All right. Well, it was fun. I don't think there's any lingering questions. I think everybody already asked those. If you haven't already checked it out, there's a couple more days. I probably won't do another live tomorrow. Maybe. Work has been a pain in my ass. There's been so many impromptu meetings and incident calls. They just drain the life out of me. But yeah, I hope you get something out of it. Was it, Mike? Well, I appreciate that, Spicy Punk. If anybody has any questions, otherwise we'll I can just call it there. Get back to the fam. Go hug my kids. Do something fun. And my next video, I have a couple ideas for next video. Got some ideas in the works. So, yeah. Have a good Sunday, everybody. It was fun. I currently do blue teamwork. Is getting the ISACA GRC certs for a well-round. Is it worth it? I would never say ISACA GRC certs for roundness would be worth it if you're going to be doing security analyst work. If you're going for GRC work, then yes. I'd say it's low ROI. Unless you're going into anything GRC, auditing, compliance, in any of the roles in the future. I wouldn't say it'd be worth it. CDL1 is probably harder than Blue Team L1. This has been my experience with cyber defenders. How to use MITRE effectively in SOC. Learn how MITRE works. If you know how MITRE works and you know the whole point of MITRE and how it's used to map to detections in a SOC, then that'll help you quickly identify a type of detection based on the MITRE it maps to. Just poke around in it. CCSA. Any other further questions? Y'all should post it in the Discord. But yeah, I'm a skedaddle. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.